G'day guys and welcome back to ANDOR. This is episode 5. Previously on we had a setup for this year being 3BBY. The focus is on Gorman, Mon Mothma trying to rally support in the Senate, but nobody seems to want to be disloyal, I should say, to um, Palpatine. He is obviously on his way to being the emperor, the dictator that we all know and love. Um, and we know that Mon Mothma actually leaves the Senate due to everything that happens with Gorman. I believe that was in her speech during Rebels. So we are leading up to that point. That's probably not for another year or so, timeline wise. Where are we on the timeline? I did have to look this up because I wasn't sure. And 3BBY, in terms of like Star Wars Rebels, for example, we are somewhere around Concord Dawn, the Battle on Ryloth, and like Twilight of the Apprentice. I assume, much like the first 3 episodes, I assume that like what takes place in this show happens during some events, but then like the big event, like Ezra's speech over the radio, for example, like his pirate broadcast, that happened like after the events of those first 3 episodes in 4BBY. And so we didn't get to hear it. We're obviously not going to hear it here because there's no way the Empire is going to like let that repeat over the radio. I mean, it could be stored somewhere. I mean, we know Mon Mothma did hear it. We know, like, Leia heard it, that sort of thing. So it could very well be mentioned by Mon Mothma at some point. We know she did hear it, so it could be mentioned. Um, we just won't hear the broadcast itself over the radio, which is disappointing. I would have loved to hear that come across to live action, but it is what it is. So I assume, like, these 3 episodes, obviously everything's about Gorman and it's about Mon Mothma, it's about Saw Gerrera, it's about the Senate and everything going on there. And obviously Cassian, he's on his way to Gorman right now, so everything's about that. And then timeline wise, it'll be like Twilight of the Apprentice happens like just after all that. And then the next 3 episodes will be 2BBY, which leads season 3 of Rebels, which also included some Saw Gerrera stuff. Was that Geonosis season 3? Or was that season 4? I can't really remember. I have to look that one up too, because I'm just trying to remember the timeline for like season 3 of Rebels as well. But we're getting there. We're inching ever closer to the events of Rogue One and Episode 4 and the dissolution of the Senate, the destruction of Alderaan, that sort of stuff all happens. And obviously we've got like Jeddah and everything that happens in like Rogue One. So, like all the Death Star plans, like there hasn't, other than the season 1 finale, we haven't had any mention of the Death Star at all. We just know that like Andor and everyone in that prison were building the parts for what looked to be the final stages of it. And I assume the Calcite is also needed for that as well. So maybe at some point, whether it's at, may not even have to be, because I think they finally finished building it around Rogue One, right? Like it was there, and then Episode 4 it became fully operational. So it was maybe towards the end of this series we might see the completion of the Death Star after they've gotten, I don't know, maybe there's going to be some kyber crystals in the next couple episodes, or we know they're looking for Calcite in this one with Gorman and that, and we're going to see the destruction of Gorman probably the same way we saw Jeddah be destroyed, maybe. But they could just have Operation Cinder type deal, that kind of thing. But who knows? There's really only one way to find out. Enough rambling from me. Let's get to episode 5. Corellia? This is radio broadcasts. Skull 343.
Yes, sir.
Radio tapping.
I'm curious by nature.
I have friends everywhere.
Bon. What do we have for Gorman?
Damn. That's a hell of a look.
I gotta go, Mother. I'll let you know.
Wait.
Listen up.
What's
I need
this?
everybody to step away from their workstation.
Is this an audit?
Scarab demain. Languette, au scarab.
At least they have somebody actually in the room.
They're telling us all to leave.
Now stay where you are.
Cyril Khan.
Yes?
I'm Attendant Grimish from ISB Tech.
Yeah.
No reason to believe there are listening devices in this office.
But I assume it was Dedra that sent them in, right? Because he's obviously aware that there are listening devices in the office.
As of this moment, everything in the room is under suspicion.
They put a listening device in the bloody thing. That's where they have their conversations.
I want everything vetted once and for all.
Everything.
Everything!
We have the exhibition.
All of it! I want it inspected and recertified.
Yes.
Everything!
So they obviously put it as a forgery. Does that mean that that big old fucking statue, that the wedding gift statue was a forgery and there's a listening device in that too?
There was a listening device in my office. How long it's been there, or if it's even operational or unknown.
Yeah, they cut the connection so you probably wouldn't tell.
All now have the pleasure of thorough ISB interview, and there will be new security measures going forward. Because of
Yeah.
course,
This is all part of like the plan.
bugging our own office.
I can't pull off a beret.
What if we could help the Empire by working together?
How would we do that?
We need to know what's on those carriers.
I don't know. What kills spiders? Birds?
We want to focus on deliveries. We need to know what's on those transports, Cyril.
It's construction material. That's what comes across my desk.
And the rest of it?
Not every transport has a bill of lading.
Which tells you what exactly?
We'd be interested in.
Risky. I mean, I'm sure he'd get that information easily, but it's all part of the ploy. But it could also be, why is this guy asking too many questions about things he has no business knowing? Because not everybody knows about the Gorman operation, so... Interesting position to be put in.
No.
No, not that. He's fine. He'll be home soon enough.
Has he even left yet?
I came to see about you.
Here I am.
This old place. Nothing is.
But you know what? At least he's checking in.
You want a drink?
No, I can't stay that long. This isn't fun, is it?
Seems like he's doing Cassian a favor, but also probably trying to get her to try to do something.
I'm not as strong as you.
That's just tonight talking. That's being stuck here in this box.
Or maybe you're not as strong as I think.
Maybe not. I'll try to find someplace else for you to stay. I'll have a look.
I'm not loving croissant.
It's overwhelming, I know you.
The death stick?
Is that what he told you? I'm better than he thinks I am.
All he does is sing your praises. We need you, Biggs. We need you healthy.
You came here to
Mm-hmm.
you wanted something. And you changed your mind.
Not lost your eye, have you? You should rest. You should be here when he gets back.
Give it.
Good eye.
It works for a while. But the dreams come back worse when you stop. Be careful.
You need me healthy.
Which means he's probably not going to stop using it.
Variation 5, so that's thirds.
Yeah, what is this thing? Is this like a laser drill or something? Because they mentioned like pipe poaching or something, right? For Rhydonium?
We can do that for you.
Just get the audit back on track. Make sure to lock up tight. I don't want any more security questions.
Yes, sir.
It's funny that he has to sneak around the Empire to do all this Empire business.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you know, I actually want to see some real spiders. There's supposed to be like 40 billion of them, right?
Vu l'habit d'Alam, vu l'habit Massa'a.
Dalam bli plugnas grondond.
Dash Migliza.
Military security required. Krajamot mikren bekezwaf.
Lève fest. D'abord t'essayes.
Afinash lo skebre na bord plian.
It's interesting that actually be mentioned of these transports, you know? Did we see this in a trailer? Him walking down a corridor like this? And we were wondering where he was? I mean, the trailers had him walk down several corridors, different places. But I feel like that was one of them. I remember the architecture.
Is that where it happened? The monument?
It is.
Really? Wow. Right there.
Some people don't think it's a good idea to commemorate a massacre in the center of town.
Isn't that where it took place? Why wouldn't you have a monument there?
It was Moff Tarkin. People wouldn't clear and he wanted to land. And more of us kept coming. We thought there was safety in numbers.
Yeah, because this would have been like just after episode 3, right?
I was with my father.
And so he tried to land. They tried to stop the Empire from landing here. And he killed them for it. It's such a petty reason. I mean, it's Tarkin. He just needs one single excuse, and he'll do it. But being refused to land? Just fucking land somewhere else, you prick. Jesus. You have to kill 500 people for it. Could you imagine if a fucking commercial airline pilot did that? Refused to land at an airport for, could be weather or something happening at the airport. Couldn't land, and he's just like, fuck you. Crashes the plane, kills 300 plus people. Fucking Christ.
Careful, all the way.
I know. I had you followed. Party has insisted.
How long can I stay?
An hour.
Are you kidding?
You can do it 3 times in that amount of time.
Think they're really watching Edie's apartment?
No, but we've put too much in now to have it go wrong for something so small. Turn out the lights.
Can't believe you had me followed.
So hot.
Turn out the lights.
Your friend might have come himself.
Unless I'm the friend, right? Or maybe I'm a snitch, and you're my payday. Maybe I'm ISB. Maybe you just put everyone you care about into a cell. I am who you want me to be, but that's just you getting lucky. People die rushing. You have no idea who I am.
Yeah. She came in, sat down, announced his name to everyone in the cafe. Some mistakes happen.
Hey, the people you have following me, they're just drawing attention. Send them home. Nice to meet you.
Lesson learned on her part. They jumped the gun because they were nervous.
I'm only meeting you because we find ourselves with a unique opportunity. We have a source inside.
An imperial source.
I'll not say. Feeding false information is what they do.
You're aware of that.
They're pretty good at it.
The information is reliable.
Yeah, until it won't be.
Would love to get a tour of Palmo by night.
You can call for me at the hotel.
As you wish.
Thank you.
Wasn't this like a recon mission for him and now he's being dragged into stealing a bloody...
You're convinced?
We've seen one spider. One spider.
I am, sir. Kara Rylance is a prominent businessman.
Yeah, but now he's being dragged into this Gorman Front rebellion stuff.
They'll need help, sir. The plan, your plan, to bait Gorman as a prize for outside agitators needs to begin somewhere.
And it'll begin with this. Yeah. It's all going according to plan, huh?
How may we assist?
The Gorman Front's taking the bait.
Excellent work, Zero.
Thank you, sir.
We'll keep you briefed.
If I say this is the greatest day of my life, does it spoil everything?
Yep.
It's good to see you happy.
I know all the variations, in theory. I just need more practice.
So we can lose the boy. He's seen too much.
You gonna kill him?
Then I'll get rid of him.
He's a good engineer.
Keep him around. You may need him in the future.
What about the people who sent him?
You need him in future.
I was hoping you could come along.
You lack confidence, Bloody.
All the more reason Wilman should be coming with.
Marquez Moon. Neen Valley.
Marquez
Safe
Moon.
Juncture. We leave tomorrow night.
What do you reckon Wilman's gonna get rid of Pluty?
What have you heard? I need some good news.
You'll have to wait on that. There's another piece. The Corio chalice, apparently. It's a forgery. They're going to examine everything in the collection.
Oh, so Luthen didn't give him a forgery. It was someone else?
At least directly back to us.
Oh, it didn't seem to bother you when we caught Yalaran lying.
Oh, seriously?
The Hollow News buyout, Skulden courting the Grand Vizier.
Bits and pieces, that's all we ever got. 2 years of bits and pieces.
You agreed to it.
I'll let you talk me into it.
You're becoming insufferable.
I can't keep track anymore.
Okay.
All this lines we've laid, all this information.
So to sort out all that, it was her idea, he agreed to it, and now he's freaking out.
We're drowning.
Too many bugs.
Keep pretending it's all under control.
Are you done?
It's too much information.
We have to take it out at the party.
And if we can't,
Then you're fucked.
Is he ready?
Yes.
Ready enough to do it on his own? No help from you?
I think so.
You think?
You know.
Listen, I've done what I can. I've done everything you've asked for. And if I don't show up back home...
Shut Pluty. I did not see that one coming.
Show them.
How was he a traitor? Because he was asking for the information?
He's been transmitting to the Empire. There's an ambush waiting for us at the Marquez Moon pipeline. But we will be many passings away, drinking our Rhino in peace.
Do you reckon that was the truth, or did they plant that on him? Because I know, like, he's extremely paranoid. So, like, anybody asking information... I don't know, man.
It's on you, boy.
Good fucking luck. And this is the trailer shot, okay. I remember that shot in the trailer. I remember everyone's reaction, mine included, being like, there must have been some kind of attack somewhere. And they're all like leaving, right? Because they see X-Wings and stuff. It's like, oh, there was probably like a rebellion attack on something. No, just Saw Gerrera.
Everyone, all at once, even the guards.
Really?
You could feel your skin coming alive. It was the Rhino.
The Rhydonium.
Had a leak. You could feel it before you could smell it. So they all panicked and ran away, but it was new to me.
To become addicted to it or something?
It's done. You can open the valve now.
He's gonna breathe it in, man.
I have always loved you.
What are you doing?
There it is.
He's gonna burn from the inside.
Understand it. Because she's my sister.
This is what causes him to have a breathing mask that we see in, like, Rogue One.
Remember this. Remember this moment. This perfect night. You think I'm crazy? Yes, I am.
Crazy people don't know they're going crazy.
Look at us. Unloved, hunted, cannon fodder. We'll all be dead before the Republic is back, and yet, here we are.
That is the truth of it.
You're here. You're not with Luthen, you're here. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Took off the mask, huh?
We're the Rhino, kid. We're the fuel. We're the thing that explodes when there's too much friction in the air.
Got that kid to believe in the cause, huh?
Let it in, boy. That's freedom calling.
I'm assuming his body is burning.
Run. Let it run wild.
Very convincing speech. Because they obviously need a pipe poacher. Jesus, man. What an ending to an episode. Oh, man. Alright, so Cassian is on Gorman, trying to get a feel for Rylands, but Rylands isn't impressed. But, I mean, Cassian doesn't want these people to get killed, and we all assume that's exactly what's going to happen if he tries to, I guess, steal or destroy this Imperial cargo. and fully advertise it to everyone in Gorman, to the Imperial presence there. They could kill another 500 people in retaliation. And we know that at least, Dedra, Cyril, and oh man, what's his name? Papa something. It's all part of the plan. They want them to succeed. Well, not necessarily want them. It's if they succeed, then the retaliation can be swift, which is part of the course. Kind of reminded me of Thrawn a little bit in Rebels, letting the Rebel crew have their little victories, and then let them gain their confidence, let them get a bit of an ego, and then you smack them down and teach them a valuable lesson. I think that's what Thrawn tried to do. Didn't quite succeed, but it's pretty standard Imperial tactics for those that are at least smart, on Thrawn's level. He was intelligent. He was definitely different. He was a tactician rather than callous, right? He wanted them to have their little victories, even though you did try to capture them every time. It was just allow them to have the little victories. You don't chase after them. You let them gain a bit of momentum, gain a bit of an ego, and then you just try to smack them down as hard as you can. And that seems to be the plan here as well. It's if they actually go ahead with the plan, which they seem fully committed to. Cassian's trying to talk them down, but, and it's because Cassian kind of understands how the ISB and the Empire works more than these people seem to. He was very wary about all this information being so readily available, and they were oh yeah, the ones that travel alone, every time there's a shipment, they travel in threes, but it's the ones that travel alone are the ones we're interested in. That is also a setup. So if someone's looking for a pattern, that's the one that's going to stand out. Obviously, you could be walking straight into a trap. Everything is a bait for all of that, in case somebody is watching, in case, And I would be, like Cassian, I would be very much suspicious if all of that information was on this data disk that was given to me by an Imperial, that you're putting this trust in because you think he's different than the rest, but we all know that it's he is Empire, he is the Imperial, and it's all just a plan. So very interesting to see what happens next episode. We've got all of that on Gorman. We have another party happening with the upper echelons of Coruscant society. But we have, what is her name? Freya? Kaya? Kreia? Whatever her name is. She planted a bug in that Choreo chalice, I think, that they gave to what's his name? Luthen agreed to it, but now it's kind of biting them in the ass. They have to get the bug out of there during the party, otherwise they're fucked, because everything's going to be rechecked afterwards. So they only have the one chance to do that. So we have that happening. We didn't get Mon Mothma this episode. And again, everything is leading up to her leaving the Senate after Gorman, so it probably might get some. She might be at the party next episode. So we got all of that happening. We got Saw Gerrera. I don't know where they were. I don't think were they on the Marquez Moon, but they just weren't in the Neen Valley. They said there were going to be I can't remember whether it was moons or miles away. Either way, they got their Rhydonium. Saw's breathing it in. He convinced that kid, whether he was into it or whether he was just terrified, of saying no to Saw at that particular time. He did take off his mask. He breathed it in. He screamed. I think it was because it was burning him from the inside, because he kind of breathed it in a little deeply. But it's one of those things too, where it's like I don't remember Willman being in Rogue One or anything like that, so probably not going to end well for him in this series, kind of like Bix. But we have that. Saw Gerrera, very convincing. I think the kid was just terrified. We saw what happened with Pluto, whether or not he was actually a traitor or this was just Saw Gerrera's plan to have an actual experienced and confident pipe poacher that he was looking for. He even said to the kid, it's like, you're going to stay here until I have what I want, which isn't just this one pipe. There's going to be many more to come, many different variations need to work on, and Pluty wasn't confident in all of that. And it seemed like Pluty wanted to keep Willman alive. Like, Saw was ready to kill him. Pluty was doing whatever he could to try to convince Saw not to do that because we still needed him. Pluty wanted more training, but then, like, Pluty asked a question of where they were going. And that set Saw off. But I mean, Willman asked the same questions too. It was like, I need to know where we're going so I know which variations I need to use. And I can train them up on that. They can do it without, they can be confident enough that they can do it without me there. Whatever. Obviously Saw was just like, no, you're going to teach him everything. Because the plan was just to kill him. But now Pluty's dead and you're keeping Willman. So, I don't know. That could have been the plan all along. But either way, Willman is now there with Saw. Whether it's willingly or whether it's just because he's terrified he's going to die. Who knows, man? That was a great episode. We got one episode left in 3 BBY. And it's like I said at the beginning, this is literally like season 2 of Rebels. So we are getting to that point with Mon Mothma's speech. I want to say that was... I'm just going to Google it really quickly, man, because because I'm not sure when that was. Let's go. Rebels, Mon Mothma speech, Declaration of the Rebel Alliance. That sounds like it. We will not rest until we bring an end to the Empire, till we restore our Republic. The final lines of the Declaration. Okay, so it was 2 BBY on Dantooine. So we're probably going to head there. She's probably going to give that speech. But it's 2 BBY, so it should be the next set of episodes, really. And then the final episodes 1 year before is obviously the rebellion kind of in full swing. I wonder if we're going to see... well, we probably won't actually see a young Luke, right? Timeline-wise. Because he would still be on Tatooine at that point, 1 BBY, especially if leading into Rogue One, like, he doesn't actually join up with the rebellion until the Death Star plans have been stolen. Which we still need to get to as well. Let's kind of set that up. But yeah, so I'm like, if the rebellion's going to be full swing with that 1 year to go, I'm hoping we get we are most likely going to get Phoenix Squadron, because I think she made that speech on board the Ghost, didn't she? And I'm just reading like this. It was like the VCX 100 Light Freighter Ghost. She did it from the Ghost on the HoloNet. So we're probably going to get a young live action Rebel crew. And we've gotten them all except Kane and Jarrus, right? I think I've mentioned that before. Like, we've gotten every live action character from the Ghost except for Kanan, and he may very well show up, even if just a small cameo during this whole bit in the next like 3 episodes. And she full declares a rebellion. I know the speech, and like all the rebels show up afterwards, and the rebellion goes in full swing. So that's going to be like the final 3 episodes. We're probably going to focus more on Saw and Luthen. Maybe kind of after that. We know Mon Mothma's kind of in charge of everything. I do want to see Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. Let's see what he's up to. But we haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, I'm still interested to see what actually happens to Gorman. Like, this is a very interesting story. But it is one of those things where Gorman's kind of like the backdrop to everything that's happening, if you know what I mean. Like, you've got, the story is really just about like Empire and the sparks of rebellion, which is what the Star Wars Rebels was all about, right? It was Empire trying to snuff out all the sparks of rebellion before it could lead to what actually does happen. We know they failed, but it's like it happens everywhere. We know it happens everywhere. There's plenty of rebel cells, and we're just seeing like the beginnings of it. We saw the one on Lothal. We're seeing this here, like, and everything that's going on. So I'm very much loving this story. I really am, man. I would never thought I would be interested in the political intrigue, but you got that going on. You've got all the subterfuge. You've got secret shadow, secret shadow empires that they called it there. But like, Empire is keeping all of this a secret from most everybody. Like, it doesn't seem everybody in that ISB meetings that we've had is aware of what's happening on Gorman, and it's only like Dedra and Cyril. And like, you've got the Empire doing Empire stuff on Gorman, but it's just all this other subterfuge, and like, he has to hide. Cyril has to hide what he's doing from other Imperials instead of letting them know, because you can't trust them. Which does make sense in a way, because we know the Gorman front was listening, but it was all part of the plan anyway. Like, they knew there were listening devices in. But now the ISB has stepped in and gotten rid of them, by the looks of things, or just made their presence known, that they're just going to be probably more than once going to be checking, just keeping them on their toes, because they did pull the plug on the transmission, so they couldn't trace it back to anybody, but they can just plug it back in if that device is still there. And we know that there is someone in that office. We've seen her. She's there. If we could plan another bug and keep that, especially if like Cyril is wanting to feed them information, it could just be part of a plan. But yeah, like, I'm loving it, man. The subterfuge, you've got political intrigue, you've got, I mean, it's great to see Cassian, but you've got everything leading up to the bigger picture, which is the rebellion, which is fantastic. The show is really filling in the gaps. So far, my least favorite aspect of all this has been Bix. Despite everything she's gone through, and despite everything she's going through now, with like the death sticks and trying to keep clean, like we saw there was that one scene where she was just kind of lying there, watching the weird, Coruscant bloody TV show, the daily talk show or whatever it was. Good Morning Coruscant, or whatever you want to call it, She was just kind of there trying not to sleep, not taking any of the death stick stuff, and just staying awake. And so she's going to recover from that. I don't know if she's going to be the one at the party. It might be more of a Luthen thing. Could even be Mon Mothma for all we know. Yeah, man. We've seen one spider from Gorman. I mean, technically, we've seen that little intel gathered video montage they put together talking about Gorman. And we saw some spiders there. We saw one little spider in that jar. But there's supposed to be like 40 billion spiders, and they're not even a focus on anything. I just want to see them. I want to see, like, the Imperials being taken away by some Gorman spiders. But we're probably not going to get them. They're probably not even going to play a part in it. It's just, like I said, Gorman is just a backdrop for everything else that's happening with Empire and the Rebellion. So, can't wait for episode 6, but that is it for this episode, guys. You have to join me next time for episode 6. But in the meantime, as usual, if you all enjoy this reaction and want to see more, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, join me next time. And I'll see you there. Bye, guys.